Hello friends, welcome back to another episode of Gloomhaven, the Guildmaster Campaign. Um, so a lot has happened since our last episode, and the one thing that happened was I had some technical difficulties. Um, I filmed or recorded a whole session this morning, and for some reason I had been out of sync with the pause button, so I ended up recording all of the breaks in between when I was discussing to myself and choosing the cards, and there was no content of the actual scenario. Pretty frustrating because it took quite a while. It was a very difficult um, it was a very difficult scenario. I made it all the way to the end, and I think I was 2 turns away from exhausting my last 2 characters. I had to kill a bunch of bandits. I think it was this one, Hammerholm. I think that sounds familiar. Yeah, but what I also did was I lowered the difficulty back down to normal because I had lost I think two very recently, and actually the last scenario that I did off camera um, was very difficult, and it was also on normal. So I think what I'm going to do is continue in normal, and if it gets too easy again, then I will up it back to difficult. Um, but I think you guys would rather be seeing scenarios where they are successful rather than just watching me lose all the time. So difficult is pretty difficult. I have to say that when I played the physical game, difficult wasn't this bad. So I don't really know. I don't know what the difference is. Maybe I got lucky. I'm not entirely sure. But I did play some of the scenarios on difficult, and yeah, they weren't as bad as I've been seeing them here. So anyway, um, in the interest of time, unfortunately, I'm pretty low on time for the rest of the day. That took a long time to finish that scenario, and then yeah, so I'm going to have to make this a shorter video, and what I'm going to do instead is make it just a 2-player video, and I'll probably just discuss um, my choices along the way rather than cut out. That should keep it a a little more fun in any way. So I will pause here. Everything's working. I'll pause here and come back with the characters that I've made. Ooh, actually, before I go there, I spent a lot of money, and I wanted to discuss that before. The Sunkeeper I had purchased. Okay, here we go. Nope, still not showing up. It's barely showing up. But the Sunkeeper, I had switched some cards. I switched cards for a lot of these, for these players, the heroes or characters or whatever. And this one I brought back Cautious Advance, and I put a +1 on the shield. This kind of saved her life throughout that last scenario. Man, I really wish that did not happen. So need to be a little bit more careful about that. I did bring the Cragheart back, and it was a lot of fun to play as him again. I don't think I changed much with him. No, I didn't. The Scoundrel I didn't make any changes with. The Tinkerer, however, I changed a few cards around. I dropped Flamethrower and Enhancement Field because I wanted him to be more support, and I didn't want him to be in melee range for Flamethrower, for instance. The shield was kind of something that I wanted to. I was kind of going back and forth on, but it's really difficult for him to go before the enemies on a lot of scenarios and put this shield 1 to use very efficiently, so I decided to drop it and just play without it for now. That's the same reason I dropped Enhancement Field. Um, this bottom action is nice when you're playing against a lot of slower enemies, but I hadn't really been able to use it to its full effectiveness, especially with somebody like the Scoundrel that's going to be more mobile, and it's not really going to be efficient for her. Um, Plus, I like to have a little bit more mobility for the Tinkerer. So removing two cards that had abilities on the bottom that weren't very effective was the better option. I did bring in Invigorating Elixir, which is helpful. It's getting all of the discarded cards for an adjacent ally. It is burned, but the heal on top is also very helpful. And I also brought in Volatile Concoction. I know these don't have move, and I was worried about his movement, but in these cases I was using them for move more than the bottom actions. So I think I use this attack pretty often, but I'd rather have more options than just using move and hoping that the bottom's going to work. Yeah. So anyway, Volatile Concoction is like a reoccurring stamina potion for somebody that within 2 spaces of him. And then it's another trap. And my thought here was, and I didn't end up doing it in the last scenario, even though I ended up talking about this the same way I am now, but my idea with this is that I can drop a 2 damage poison trap and pair that with Tinkerer's tools, which would be create 1 stun trap. So you'd be able to drop 2 traps in 1 turn, and it's going to help out quite a bit, especially if the Tinkerer's in a bind next to another trap or an obstacle. Then he's covering kind of 3 of the hexes around him. So if any enemies need to come to him, they're going to walk through traps. That was my idea. I didn't end up doing it. I didn't end up getting into a situation where I needed to do it anyway, so. We did have a bunch of unlocks in the last one as well, but we also have another unlocked mercenary. I'm going to leave this one off as well, but I'm going to leave these 2 up to you guys. If you want to see, I believe we call this one, well, this is the 2 minis in the board game because it comes with 2 minis, but I think they call it the Phoenix. And this is the Crescent. So if you want to see these, if you know what they are and you want to see them, if you don't know what they are and you want to see them, just let me know in the comments section. These ones are a lot of fun, but I'm going to leave these ones up to you since they are spoilers. I'll leave them up to you guys. Enhancements, we ended up getting 2 enhancements. I think it was Dark, and then because we got Dark, we had all of the... Yeah, we got Dark enhancement, and because we ended up having all 6 of them, we also got the Elemental Mastery, which allows you to put enhancement that gives you the option of what element you want to infuse. This is very helpful for characters like the Spellweaver and the Elementalist, where they want to use multiple or different elements within the same attack or movement or turn. So you'd be able to bring in one that you want to use for the next round. It gives you a little bit more option, that's all. Murder Spree, kill 200 enemies of any kind, especially oozes. So we just got this one. This one wasn't available before, so we just got this from the last one. We've been murdering our way across the land for quite a while now. When you're paid for it, it isn't murder, it's a job. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but right. Anyway, I've got a lead on a relic that could help us. A rumor of an evil witch in the woods who fashions her victims into jewelry. Sounds wonderful. That's kind of my thought. I think she was being sarcastic. I hope she was being sarcastic. Kill 10 Bone Rangers. We finally did that. That was painful. Man, those Bone Rangers. I did do a fair bit of complaining about the Bone Rangers in the scenario that you guys missed. So I am so sorry that you missed that too. Okay, now I will pause, choose the characters, the location, and cards and everything like that, and I will be right back. Alright, so this is what we're going to go with here. We want to try out the Berserker Scoundrel Duo. The Berserker works better as she takes more damage, and the Berserker, or the Scoundrel, is somebody that, you know, needs to be next to a melee character. So I feel like both of them, as long as I keep the Berserker from dying or getting close to death, then this should be a pretty interesting combination. Yeah, I was thinking I wanted to keep the Scoundrel in to just keep her leveling up. She has one more story coming up, but she needs to be level 3 in order to pursue it. So I think we want to continue leveling her up. And the Berserker I haven't played in a while. Lesser of Two Evils, this is one that I had lost in before, but with the normal difficulty and only 2, it should be a bit easier. Yeah, so let's go with this duo and see how far we can make it. Counter. With the darkness of night drawing ever closer, you scan your surroundings for shelter from that which lurks within the shadows. You notice a light emanating from a nearby cave. This is an interesting choice if it's a cave, and decide to investigate. Cautiously moving towards the light, you find that inside a cave sits a lone orchid in meditation, who seems oblivious to your presence. The glow from the large crystals on her skin illuminate the entirety of the cave. You see paintings on the cave walls that appear to depict previous quests you have undertaken. Even the very journey that took you to this cave. Next to the orchid lies some chalk, rations, and a bag of coins. I think we want to talk to her. You wait for the orchid to finish her meditation. Finally, at the break of dawn, you gaze tired and exhausted at the orchid as the glow from her crystals begin to fade. Slowly opens her amethyst eyes. Greetings, travelers. I've been expecting you, the orchid announced, smiling coyly as she gathers her belongings. You undoubtedly have many questions, but I unfortunately have little time. Before I depart, allow me to read the signs to see what is in store for you. Without looking away from you, she gestures to one of the cave paintings, one that you are certain was not there before, depicting this very conversation you are having with the orchid. Interesting. This is a long one. The orchid closes her eyes again and gestures with her other hand to an empty spot on the wall. She whispers something that you can't quite comprehend before the image of your penitent man forms, with his hands clasped together. There's much to be learned from our errors, but do not be consumed by your contrition. Before you can ask her what she means, she snaps her fingers and disappears, and with her all of the cave paintings. Only rough-hewn rock remains. Perhaps she has great insight, or perhaps it was just nonsense, but you feel as though you have learned something about yourself in this cave, although you having stayed up all night and taking its toll physically. Great. Wounded. Ooh, cool. Huh. You've only heard of the Shadowfield Manor in stories to frighten children, the reclusive dynasty who live deep in the forest and are said to perform strange rites. However, you have received a request of aid, which reports that members of the urban Umbran League have been spotted on the grounds and are attempting to break into the family's catacombs to defile their ancient tombs. You travel to the manor, pass through the iron gates, and head to the graveyard at the rear. Cultists are congregating outside a particular crypt. As they see you, they summon Bone Rangers and command them to attack. Great. Well, I do want to make a quick change here because I remembered I want to bring this card in. So we have a couple stuns, but we also infuse fire here, so we want to be able to use that because I don't think any of our cards use it. No. So it's interesting that they give you this and then the choice to use that. I don't know about that. Growing Rage. This gets better as we get later into the scenario, so it's interesting to keep. We want that. We want that. We will drop Blood Pact. Bring in Unbridled Power. And I don't think I want to do any changes for you. No, let's go. Okay, so we have Bone Rangers, Cultists, and if the Cultists bring in any living bones. There we go. If they bring in any living bones, which it looks like they probably will, there's 3 of them here. Then we'll have to contend with those too. We have this large room here, and then a smaller or medium room in the back there. Dark power has always been said to warp around this area of the forest. It entirely blots out the power of light too. Use that to your advantage. Looks like we won't be able to use that to our advantage. Well, okay. We do have Sinister Opportunity. We'll be able to use that. So I'm wondering if it seems like that's going to be there. Start of each round, the dark element is set to strong and the light element is set to inert. Well, it's a good thing I didn't bring in the Sunkeeper. She would have been slightly weaker. So kill all enemies. These are the kinds of scenarios I'd like to be doing more often. The one I just did said kill all bandits, and there were a ton of Bone Rangers that were just protecting them. So those ones are kind of a pain, but it doesn't stop you to just killing everything. Anyway, let's see here. Let's move up. And I think in order to kill this one immediately, what we're going to do is... Nope. Oh, we are wounded. We have to keep that in mind. Alright. We're going to do our normal... Let's use Sinister Opportunity now. But we're going to do our normal thing here is pull this guy to here. Poison with the smoke bomb, pull, and then Sinister Opportunity is a 3+2 because of the dark element. So we'll have 3 of these now. This one, single out, and flanking strike. And we should be able to kill him immediately. Alright, next, let's... think... I'd like to kind of stun one. So I think what I'll do is this, Dazing Wound. And we want to go after 12. Bounce back from the brink. Well, let's do it this way. So we could get a retaliate if they end up attacking. No, that's not that good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now these 3 could be dealing some damage, so we want to be killing them pretty quickly as well, but we want to kill them first. there any traps back here that we can take advantage of? No. There's right there, but... Let's grab this one. It's a move 4. Yeah, it's a move 4. We can take damage to go a little further. And then we'll attack. We'll take 2 damage and we'll attack for 3 and stun. We'll see who that really needs to be. Alright. End that now. So they're doing this. Okay. So we need to be stunning them immediately. Yeah, take the damage. Right to here, please. And we want to use that. We'll make this attack times or +2, which kills it. So we've taken 1 down. That's great. We'll just skip this for now. These guys are going to be attacking twice. So the best thing we can do is keep our distance from them because we don't want... That's 1, 2, 3. So if we stand over here, yeah. Let's kind of put some space between us so the scoundrel can move up here. We'll skip the rest of that movement, but we will do this. We're going to take the 2. Alright, did that work? Use this, and then click here. Okay. Oh, I see. Confirm action, we take 2 damage. Receive it. And now we attack here. Oh, and we killed it anyway. Alright, fair enough. So we only have to deal with 1. And it did take 2 damage. We're not going to take any more attacks. Wonderful. Alright, I think the next thing we want to do here is cauterize so we can start putting some wounds on them. And a heal would be nice so that we can remove that wound and also heal up a little bit. We'll do that. Let's go late with a move in. So that way all of this happens. I want to see this. Do I though? Let's do this instead. Special mixture. Yeah. Let's get to a point where 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, what we could do, well, we have plenty of time. Let's do it. Instead of special mixture, because I want that heal to stick around for a little bit. Let's move up with oh, now I'm seeing this one instead. I think I'll do this. Maybe not that one though. Let's use this just to move up a little bit, and then we can attack with throwing knives. That'll cause a couple more damage, so we'll use that. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's too bad. But what are they doing? They're not moving again, so we just stay away from them a little bit. Okay. And we'll make these 2 attacks. It's healing 2. Okay, so it's actually not going to heal that right back off. That's dead. We're seeing a couple things here. It seems easier because of the difficulty change, but also it has to do with the number of characters. She's a 1, she's a 2, so the level would be a a 1. All right. And because of that, the difficulty is lowered, because it would be a 2 if this was on difficult, but because it's on normal, it's 1 is the level of the enemies and the traps and everything. That's what I mean by 1. Okay, sorry. Their levels are 1 due to our levels on normal difficulty. On difficult difficulty, it's +1. So all of these would increase to level 2. These would be level 2, so it would be dealing 4 or 5 damage. I'm forgetting. I think 4. Right. But because we have 2 characters, there's also less of them as well. So it's kind of a combination. It looks like it's very easy because it is much easier, but it's also easier because there's only 2 characters. The more characters you put in, really it gets very difficult. It's kind of strange how that works, right? I kind of want to expect that it will, sure, increase in difficulty, like the number of enemies, but it seems to scale exponentially with the number of with the number of characters that you have. So yeah, it's just it's interesting. Anyway, good, thanks. Okay, because my favorite way of playing a physical game was with 3 players, and on difficulty, it wasn't too bad. It was actually, not that it was easy, but it was fun, you know. But with 4 players, there's some crazy jump in difficulty. The number of enemies, just the number of enemies added from 3 to 4 is a pretty large jump in difficulty. Also from 2 to 3, for that matter. So we have 7, which is not at least half of our hit point maximum, so this would only be a 3. We do have fire, so let's use that here. We can do an attack of 4 and stun. Want to move in. I think that's a good one to move in with, right? Yeah, let's move in with that so that they take more damage. Next, let's use Swift Bow and 6. Let's try to move in here and deal some damage. They're finally going to move a little bit, and then the Living Bones is going to target 1 with all of his attacks. Now would be a good time to heal, but let's move up first. Or let's actually, yeah, let's just make this attack from here. There. That one's down now. And then from here we can... They are going to move. So, yeah, I guess let's just try and pick up some of this money while we're here. I'm going to pick up a card. Oh, this looks so different with just 2 characters. This one might be a good one to bring back. Let's do that. So we have a way of shooting at both of them. As you can see, we having a third player might be able to pick up some more of that, but it's not the case here. Some of the gold here. Weird. I had an attack of 2 plus 2. For some reason, yeah, 4 minus 1. Minus 1, 2. Okay, I see what happened now. So we don't have to worry about that incoming attack. I guess probably wanted to. Okay. See what we can do with you first. I think this is probably a good idea. Oh, it's a really good idea. Let's use single out and then throwing knives, and we can start attacking both of them. Maybe we'll attack these two instead. But and let's heal you. There's a bottom action. Okay, we'll just take this and then we can punch him probably. Yep. This is getting a little dangerous here. So let's burn this card, but it's going to help us. Next 4 attacks targeting enemies adjacent to none of their allies add +2 attack, which is really good with this one. Let's... Yeah, that's too bad. We could have killed that one, but at least that one is dead. Good work. And let's heal you up here now because that wound was going a little too long. Punch you. There. You're dead too now. Might be nice to loot all of this, right? Okay. Whatever we have, we'll just... let's go in with that, actually. 32. Of course, and went squeezed in right between us. Yeah, I mean... Move up. Skip that movement, and then attack 3. There. You're dead. Okay. Well, I don't want to open this door. Let's heal. And what I'll do is just move over to here and pick up some of this gold. There's a 2, a 2, a 2. So these used to be 3 because of the level. Oh, I think that's the difference here. So this is level 1. We've been playing on level 3 because our group, our band, is level 2. Okay? I don't want to be too confusing here, but so there's like a formula that they use. No, long rest. There's a formula that they use. It's like take the average of the level of your characters. So add them all up and then divide by the number, right? You get your average, the number of characters that you have, and you get your average level. Then you cut that in half, and yeah, that's it. And then raise it up to the next integer. So if it's 1, if 1 is the average, then it's 1. If it's 1.2 is the average, then it goes up to 2. Okay, I'm really trying hard to explain this. It's very easy math, but for some reason I can't think of the words. So Bounce back. Sure. Right. And if you're on difficulty, then you increase that level by 1. So if the level of your mercenary band is 1, then it becomes 2. And traps and the number of gold, all of that, and the level of the enemies is dependent on that number. Now in the board game, that's not true for the gold, but for some reason they're more lenient about that here. I hope I didn't make it worse. Okay. Let's go in with a cauterize and growing rage. Sure. And you go later. Let's use sinister opportunity. I'm hoping that we can use this. And let's use special mixture for the poison. There's 3 of them back here. They're just chains. What are they going to do? They're moving 3. So they're charging right for us. And then they are going to deal a 0 attack. But if we kill them this round, then they attack us, all adjacent enemies, for 3. You know what? Just stand here. Alright? And we're going to take this and attack both of you guys. That will help reduce their health over time. Now let's see everybody pile in around him. Her. That's a miss. Good. It'd be nice if we could get some 0s or minuses, then we won't take any damage. Ooh, a +1. Come on now. Man. Okay. Well, let's move to here. Skip that. Let's poison the one behind her so that we can potentially just kill it now. Yeah, you're dead. Oh, right. Burn. Oh, man. Okay, that might have been a bad idea. Maybe it would have been better to do this one instead. I forgot. Even though I just said it, I forgot. Just get rid of this. Probably not wanting to take the damage. Probably don't want to voluntarily remove any more damage from you. Growing Rage would be great now for that. Okay, we want this now, and we want the health. Well, she does have that, so that'll work. We can do something like this, and then flanking. No, throwing knives. Could pull one of them to here. That was something that I did in the scenario that you all missed. I used this to pull them closer to my melee characters. And that was pretty fun, actually. Let's do this. We can kind of take a step back and do that. An attack on both of them for 2. We'll do this just to move, pick up that gold, and get into position. Alright. Luckily, they did pull that again, but we are going before them. I I'd really like to see her attack first now. So are they moving? They are not. So what I'm gonna do actually, I'm going to do this and then retaliate, because now these two will be attacking her at disadvantage. But we can attack one of them first. There we go. 9 damage. And now heal. That was a +2 attack because the current hit point value was less than half of the maximum. So her half is 5. So as long as she has 4 or less health, then she can use the +2 advantage there. Pick that up. Back up a little bit more. Confirm that. And now let's target these two. There we go. We've taken them both down with that. That's fantastic. Yeah, we'll take that damage, and so will you. Yeah, just the one. So that's... yeah, I want to remind... This is a very fast episode, and I just want to remind you that because it's a 2-player, and because it's the difficulty went from level 3 to 1, that's what made this one so much easier. Whoops. Now, normal will probably be... I keep clicking on this. Normal will probably be what I play with for a little bit longer, until... until either it is just too easy, but I am going back to 4 players in the next scenario. I just couldn't... I didn't have the time to do another 2-hour video plus all the time in between, which is about 3 hours total, or more. So yeah, I just couldn't do it again right away. All right. Fully win. Poisoned. Now let's just do it everything. 8 damage. Nicely done. And let's move to here, pick up a little bit of gold here. Then I'm going to, use this, confirm the action, take the 2 damage, and now attack here for 3 damage, and you're stunned, so you're not going to be able to attack. Here we go, short rest. No, redraw that. I want to use that. Where'd it go? We'll loot as much as we can. I guess it's just these two. Let's see, 2, 2, 2 back there. I wonder if moving... Well, it's either these two or these two, I guess. Because then we could use flintlock and loot just one. So, I guess not. We'll use swift bow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try and get the kill before the Berserker. Which it worked. And then loot 2 for the 2 piles there, just for 4 gold though. That is the problem with lower levels, is that you're going to be you're going to be gaining less gold. So at higher levels, when your party is at higher levels, you're gaining more gold on a regular basis on a per scenario um, for the board game. Here at higher levels, you're also gaining more gold, even if it's just difficult. So I'm really looking forward to bringing the normal campaign back here. I appreciate what they've done to create all of these scenarios by themselves. I don't know if the algorithm that uh, Isaac Childress had used to create all of the to balance all the scenarios, if he just shared that with them or what. But I'm looking forward to the actual campaign. I'm enjoying this thoroughly. It gives me some time to play Gloomhaven on the digital version. It's great. I'm not complaining at all. Alright, the cultists are driven away from the manor, which is now safe again. You are unsure whether this is a good thing or not. Okay. We didn't unlock anything else, but here are the statistics. I'm not going to prolong this too much longer. Yeah. So that'll do it. Oh, 56 damage. Pretty average for her, I think. Right, so the normal campaign will come back, or the normal rules of the campaign will come back for Thursday. We'll have the I don't know if it'll be the normal 4, maybe they'll change that up. I kind of do like changing it up, and since we're on normal difficulty, I think I will change it up a little bit more. I want to try out new tactics and play around, but I won't be using difficult unless I have a band of mercenaries that I'm very comfortable with moving forward. So we'll stick with normal difficulty and go back to 4 players in the next episode. I received a package by courier this morning and it had a pretty piece of jewelry in it. However, every time I look at it, it turns my stomach. Probably means you'll find a use for it. Yeah, probably. Alright, there we go. Level 2 Scoundrel. You know what? Because it's a shorter video, let's just go through it. Level 3. So we can take Hidden Daggers, which is a very good card, ability card, with an attack 4, range 3, targeting 2 enemies. It is a burn card. However, when it comes in handy, you know, when it's needed, it's very useful. And then the invisible self on the bottom, yeah, the great one. Duelist Advance, a move 3, attack 3 on top. The bottom is add +2 attack to all your attacks this round, targeting enemies adjacent to none of their allies. So as you can see, this one, in combination with Single Out, on your next 4 attacks targeting enemies adjacent to none of their allies, add +2. The bottom for this one is add +2 for the round. So this one would probably be a good one to just replace Single Out. It has a move and attack on top, and a reusable bottom action that's similar to that of Single Out. So this one, I think we'll go with this one. I typically go with Hidden Daggers because the invisibility is just wonderful for her to have. Man, and it's really hard to pass up, but I want to try out new tactics. So Duelists Advance. And I think what I'm going to do is I might drop Single Out. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 cards that are 12 and under, so very fast cards. And then 1, 2, 3 slow cards. We want slow cards to allow her to have that the enemies can move toward her on their turn, and then on her turn she can move toward them and make some damage. And then of course in the next round, you know, have a fast turn and then move away. That's kind of how I've always liked to play the Scoundrel. Um, but Duelist Advance gives you the opportunity to move, attack, and then move away, you know, with another card. And it is 16, so that's pretty quick as well. It's under 20. So the problem here is that it's very good in combination with single out, of course, right? Because then we could use throwing knives would be an attack 2, plus 2 if they're alone, plus another 2 for this one. So this would become an attack 6 for any enemies that have no adjacent enemies, allies to them. So I'm gonna have to think about that. I just don't know another one that I would get rid of. I kind of want to keep Backstab a little longer because it's a great move card. Yeah. Take a look at this. So Obscure is a pretty good one to take because it's like a random invisibility. The problem is that it's random, and sure, it comes in handy when it happens, but there are so many times when it just doesn't come in handy. It's like, oh, now I'm invisible. The Pierce could be a really good thing for her too. You know what? I think I'm gonna take Pierce. I don't typically do it, and I've been very frustrated with the amount of shield without having the brute. So let's take the 2 Pierce. When it happens, it's going to be great, right? I can't count on it, but when it does happen, it's going to be great. And I think it's time to start adding some of these rolling modifiers anyway. These ones are also going to be good to have. I'd like to remove the zeros, but I think that for now, let's leave them in because I don't want to make it too thin that increases the chances of this. So we'll leave those zeros in for now. He already hits pretty hard anyway, so that's good. Now back to this. I think I'm still going to go with this. It's nice that it has the move and attack on top. Okay, that's what it is. But it's nice that it has the same thing as single out, but it's reusable. And because she has 9 cards in her deck, in her hand, then let's remove some of the ones that are burned. Make her last a little longer. Now, single out is a great card. This top is, you know, attack 3 plus 2 for adjacent to our allies. But once you use the bottom, that's gone. And so, and it's better to use this kind of earlier. Use this and then use this, and then it's gone. So you only really get to use it once, unless you just never use single out bottom action. And I understand if you wouldn't do that and just continue to use the top, but the bottom is too good to just kind of forget about. So let's switch it with Duelist Advance. If I miss it, I'll bring it back. But this one will be able to move, attack, and then move away, or move, attack, and I mean there's some other options, I guess. Most of it's just move away. Yeah. Anyway, well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. It was a bit weird, a different episode than our normal episode. So I apologize for that, but we'll be back on schedule with Thursday, where we'll have four characters again, but with normal difficulty, and we can start chasing down some more of these story quests. So, all right. Well, with that, thanks for stopping by, and I hope to see you next time.